What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Monday, beginning of the week. I'm with Amanda.
Hi.
And we're gonna make some tea in a minute, but first I'm gonna talk about my new Eaton radio. So it's right here.
It looks cool.
Yeah, this thing is great. Has solar panel up top. And then it also has a generator here. You can manually generate some power in case I guess it's dark out and you don't have any power. You get the tuners here, the on-off switch. You can preset 7 channels, AM, FM. Has an alarm on here. And antenna, little antenna here, and a flashlight.
Can I see?
See that?
Tiny flashlight, but can't blind you when you put it to your
Right.
face.
So, and it has, you can charge this. It has a battery in there, so it's a good emergency radio. Has the weather channel on here, and it's good for emergencies. You go out to the desert or something and it'll keep you up to date, plus plenty of sun out there. You can always charge it, so I highly recommend this. %100% charged up. So NOAA weather alerts are on here. You can charge your smartphone. It's got a hand crank, solar charger, flashlight, a glow-in-the-dark indicator. This thing lights up at night, and it has a headphone jack. So, once again, I highly recommend this. It's a good thing to have, especially if you have like an earthquake or something. I'm a big fan of the radio. I've always been a big fan of the radio. Music, obviously, but I'm a big fan of talk radio. Not just now, but ever since I was little. I would go to sleep with the radio on, very light, maybe like at the 1 position, and I would listen to talk radio. But the talk radio I would listen to back then, it was open lines. No topics. It was kind of like lighthearted and one of those kind of get your mind off the world things. But at nighttime, once in a while, because it's so quiet, the sound would travel into my father's ears, and he would get up at like 3 a.m., open up the door and shut the radio off. Next day I'd be like, how'd that radio turn off? My father would be like, your radio was on last night. I go, yeah, I know, you can hear that? He goes, I can hear it.
I can hear it, yeah.
So, anyway, good technology. Now we're gonna make some tea here. We're gonna make Earl Grey. We've already shown this brand before. Have the water already in here. Actually, I bought an adapter for this male part. Goes on top of this, and then it'll match on one of those big propane tanks if you want to go and really cook a meal. These last, but they don't last that long. So we'll put it on here.
Well, that scared me. it just made the sound like.
I love the heat off of this. I can imagine being in the middle of like the winter time up on a mountain, snow falling, crisp, cold, and then you have this thing going. That would feel so nice. And the cold, if you do this too long, your hands are cold to begin with, you'll cook your hands. You start smelling like hamburger cooking,
Well,
you know.
You're
So
not
you
a
gotta,
cannibal yet, though.
well, you gotta watch it because raise this up a little bit. You know, the good thing about this this device here is at the bottom, touch the bottom, is cold.
Can I try?
It
Oh my
does,
god, it burned my hand totally. Yeah.
it does not heat up, so you could have it on a plastic surface or something. It just does not get hot. So anyway, but that feels nice.
Yes.
But like I said, if your hands are cold and you don't feel them and you put your hands like that, you will cook your hands. Cook your hands, and then the smell will attract bears. So you gotta watch out. We'll skip it over.
Yeah, I smell it cooking.
I have it on low. I mean, I could jack it up and in 3 minutes it'll be boiling, maybe even sooner, but no need to rush. I was watching a few years ago videos of people that get haircuts using fire.
Oh yeah, like how they put fire on your head and they brush it out.
Right.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, so they have these dudes that go in there with kind of long hair, and then I don't know what they add to it. Rubbing alcohol, I don't know what they add, but they add something, and then they light it up, and as your hair is burning, they comb through it, and it cuts it, and then they put it out. I don't know, I mean, it looks dangerous, but they put it out, and then you have a nice haircut. But they can only do it for hair that's a certain length. You can't go in there and say, I want a ½ inch. They will burn your scalp off. But yeah, there's tons of those videos where they burn they light you on fire, your hair, and then they comb through it, and all the burnt stuff falls off, and you have a nice, But the smell of burnt hair, not that appealing. But anyway, nice night tonight. These are the kind of nights where you want to have a couple of, not a couple, maybe 4 or 5 guys around a barrel with a fire going, singing a cappella. I miss that kind of music. In the old days, in the 1950s, that was popular music. The neighborhood jukebox.
People that don't have the patience to endure the trip down are left here. They spend a long time here waiting for something, or perhaps waiting for nothing at all. This is hell, isn't it? Oh, you're deciding where my placement is in hell. Yo, bro, I've been here for a long time waiting for... Wait, what was I waiting for? Actually, I think the old man can use some company up there. No, I'll be patient. I'll be patient. I'll just complain all the way down.
Had a dream last night.
I swear I won't.
I have lots of dreams all the time, but last night I had one, and I was back in high school. These dreams where I'm back in school I have quite often. I'm reminiscing. So in this dream, the year is freshman year in high school, and it was my second to last class, which was English class. And I go in, and it's, everybody looks the same as they did, and I'm sitting in the same seat I sat in high school during that time, during that class. And the teacher, same teacher. The only difference was, in the dream, that instead of being an English teacher, he says, take out your math books.
I knew it. I knew he was going to be a math teacher.
And he was a math teacher, and I'm like, when did he become a math teacher? I always knew him to be an English teacher. And then I was thinking, do they give you an option and then you could switch it? So anyway, he was a math teacher in the dream, even though in real life he was an English teacher. And he was a good guy. He knew his stuff. Young guy back then. He was 33. But yeah, in my dream he was teaching fractions, and I'm like, fractions? That's what Amanda does. She does.
I'm super good at them.
Yeah, she's very good at math. But he's teaching fractions, and this is high school. I'm thinking, wow, we're like a little bit behind.
Like, we're like 2-year-olds.
Right.
Like, we're like my age.
So yeah, I remember he was a nice teacher. And then after that, I would go and down the hall there and had my last class, which was French, which I did not like. Just, you know, didn't grab me the right way. I think I should have taken Spanish, but that's the way it goes. I thought I would be talking in that French accent, mauvais voici, you know, but it didn't work out that way. I see the steam.
If you are hardworking, you'll put in the effort.
Yeah, the other day I was talking to somebody and I was kidding around with them. I thought they knew I was kidding around, but apparently they didn't. So I was talking about Ben Franklin and how he used to eat at the Union Oyster House. Now that part is true. He used to go there all the time and eat. And I said he used to go there and he had a table and he would come up with all these ideas, you know, inventions and stuff. And I said that's where he came up with flying the kite with the key and attracting electricity. But I said a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people falsely give credit to Albert Einstein for inventing or discovering, either way, E equals mc squared. And I said Albert Einstein did not come up with that, Benjamin Franklin did. And they were like, really? I go, yeah. So he came up with that at the Union Oyster House and he wrote it in his notebook. And many, many years later, Albert Einstein was visiting Ben Franklin's house. Now obviously Ben Franklin had long been dead at that time, but in that house Albert Einstein found a notebook, a leather notebook, and inside were handwritten notes by Benjamin Franklin, and he took it. Well, in that notebook was the whole explanation of E equals mc squared. You know, where time and space are related. And so he took it and made it his own. Now I was kidding about that. Albert Einstein came up with that on his own. He didn't take it from Ben Franklin. So this person went to school and the issue of Albert Einstein and E equals mc squared came up. And this person said to the teacher that it's a fallacy, that Einstein came up with that the true inventor of that, or the true discoverer of that equation, was Benjamin Franklin. And he argued, and the kid got in trouble. So he came to me and I said, I was just kidding about that. That wasn't serious. Anyway, so we're gonna have some tea.
Tea.
Tea time.
Can I put my tea bag in?
Yes.
Thank you. What tea is it?
This is Earl Grey. It comes in little, like, cotton bags. Real cotton.
They're so pretty.
Right.
Oh, they smell really good.
Yeah, I've said this before. There's only so many new things you can come up with in a short period of time. But I said before that in my house growing up, my parents, my grandparents, they only had tea when they were sick. You know? If I said to my mother right now, hey, you want some tea? She would respond immediately by telling me I'm not sick. I don't have a cold. Like this is medicine, like Tylenol or something that you only take when you have a cold or something, you know? But they always tell me that. Tell my mother, you want some tea? It's always like, no, I don't have a cold. My grandmother, the same way. They never drank tea just for the sake of drinking tea. They always associated tea with a sore throat or
like,
fever.
Or like you have a cough.
Right. I drink tea regardless. Some people say irregardless.
Or
To me, they both sound right.
irresponsible.
Yeah, but if you say irregardless, regardless, they sound correct. I say regardless, but some people say irregardless.
I say irresponsible.
Yeah, well, that's different. And then, what's the other one? Oh, when people say to you, like, you know, say they want to do something, or like say they want to, for example, they want to listen to your radio, and they say, you don't mind if I listen to your radio for a minute? And you say, yeah, sure. Well, answering it like that, yeah, sure, when somebody says you don't mind and you say, yeah, sure, it's almost like you're saying you mind. You know, or the other one where they say, you know, like, I don't know, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less if it never snows again. Some people say I could care less if it didn't snow again, and it means the exact same thing. You know, I couldn't care less if I saw another movie. I could care less if I saw another movie, and it means the exact same thing. So, I don't know. It's like a few strange things. Then the other...
you take my spoon. Right?
That's all I have.
Okay.
The other one that used to annoy me, and it still does, I had an English teacher in the 11th grade, and his favorite expression, a favorite line. I wasn't a fan of this teacher. I did not like his personality at all. But, you know, a lot of birds. Look at,
Oh, just imagine one of them scattare.
there's a lot of birds.
They're crows though, right?
Right. Just flew right over. Anyway, so he would talk, and he was an older guy. He was probably back then like 60. And he used to wear these thick glasses that looked like the kind of glasses that, you know, they stored, you know, medicine in. And his eyes were very blue. It's like blue. And you know, he was always talking, and he would always say something, and then he would say, if you will, like, you know, he would say something in that line, if you will. Well, you don't need to really say if you will every time you say something, but yeah, did not like him as a teacher. Smells good, the tea.
I drink the tea bags.
A lot of crows out tonight.
Too many to count.
Yeah. Like if a homeless guy had a slingshot.
You could get some food.
Yeah. Be eating crow all night. There's a lot of food, you know, like birds and stuff. If you're hungry and you don't have the money, I'd suggest buying a slingshot and eating sparrow or crow. There's more of them coming. I like these guys that have pigeons. They have like 100 pigeons on top of their house somewhere on the roof outside, and then they go there like a couple of times a day, and they open up the door, and they have some, like, I don't know what those are, brushes, and the pigeons know with the movement what to do, and they empty out the cages, and the pigeons go flying around in the sky in circles, and then you do some maneuver with those I don't know, those dusters, and the pigeons take a dive, and if you want them to come back, you do something else, and they come back. It's like you're a you know, what do you call those guys? They're the guys that Reagan fired. What was the tower guys? I can't think of that. Those guys. It's like,
Wait, the guys that made the planes?
yeah.
The Wright brothers.
No, the guy, the in the airport where they have the tower. What are those guys called in that tower? I can't think of it right now.
Clock tower.
It's not mission control, and you know NASA does that. Mission control. It's anyway. You know what I'm talking about. We ad lib. It's not scripted. Hot because I make it with fire. That's good. Good tea.
Did you know tea can dye your clothes?
Yes.
Hot.
Yeah, I made it with fire.
I did see you though.
Yeah, there's a lot of crows out tonight. A lot of crows. You see a hawk coming in and grabbing them out of the blue. But yeah, birds are fascinating. I have a bird story that happened when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, somewhere around there. I was like a little kid, and I was with some other kid. We were friends, and we found a nest, bird's nest, on a pine tree somewhere, and in that nest there were eggs, blue jay eggs, and we took one of them, like we were gonna, you know, make it hatch. So took it, and then we walked with it, and like walked probably about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles, you know, so about a half hour's worth of walking, which was where my house was. So we took it from where he lived, and we walked to where I lived, and we put it inside where the water heater is. We had a room, and it was always warm in that room, like, you know, 80 degrees in there. Put it in there and thought that by the heat alone it would hatch, and then we would like train the blue jay. So we didn't notice, but apparently we were followed by the mother blue jay, and every day that poor bird would come and sit outside of the house on one of the tree branches, waiting for us to open up the door, you know, to where I had the egg. Every day it would leave and come back, leave and come back. So it would fly between the other eggs it had and the egg we took. And that bird that we took did not survive. We didn't have the machine like they have at the Science Museum, where you put the egg in, the heat rotates around, and the egg hatches. We didn't have that. And kind of to pay back nature for what I had done when I was 10. Many years later, when I was, I don't know, how old was I back then when this happened? Probably like 30 years old. There was a pigeon in my backyard that could not fly, had a broken wing, could not fly. It was flapping around and it couldn't fly. And in my neighborhood we had cats, so it was only a matter of time before the cats would get the pigeon. So I went and grabbed the pigeon, and I noticed that the wing was like not functioning. So, and this was the beginning of the summer, this was like June. So I kept the bird in the basement in a big, you know, cage that I had, and I would feed it every day. I'd feed it, give it water, and I kept it for 3 months. And I said, okay, that wing has got to be okay by now. So I took it upstairs to my room, and I was tossing it up and down, and at some point the bird started to fly around my room. And when it did that, the following day, I remember it was a Saturday, we were going to go down to the Cape, and I took the bird and I tied a little ribbon around its leg so I could identify it, a little ribbon, red one. And I took it to my backyard and I tossed it up as high as I could, and the bird flew, did a couple of circles, and landed on an old oak tree that we had in the backyard. which is still there. And I was down below looking up, and the bird was looking down at me, and we did that for like 10 minutes. And then my father said, let's go get in the station wagon, and we left. And I never saw that bird again. But yeah, I healed it. I healed the bird. That's just the right temperature right now.
It's so good.
Yeah. Very flavorful. Earl Grey.
Come on, buddy. Open up. I know there's nobody in there. Come on. How many times can I knock?
I want more.
You have some.
I mean, it's super good. Huh?
Okay, I can make more. 8:04 in the evening. Love that movie, Eddie and the Cruisers. It reminds me of high school, those high school days. Especially that song, was it Tender Years? High school years. Those are the tender years. But that was a good movie. Every once in a while, I'll put it on and watch it, and it's like I'm watching it for the first time. And then Eddie Lives. You know, that one was kind of, you know, ridiculous. So he disappears, fakes his death, pretends that he drove off the bridge, but he survives somehow, and goes up to Canada. Meantime, he looks just like Eddie Wilson with a beard, and nobody recognizes him. Nobody says, "Hey, you look like Eddie Wilson." I mean, imagine Elvis Presley, who died in 1977, August. Imagine he didn't die. I know that was what, you know, they were telling us, those fake stories back in the 90s, but he really died. But imagine he didn't die, and he went to Canada, and he became a construction worker. And the only difference between Elvis that we knew and the new Elvis was that he had a beard. You don't think anybody would recognize him and say, "You look like Elvis, and you sound like Elvis"? No, not Eddie Wilson. Nobody knew. And then finally, he shaves the beard. It's like Superman with the glasses, you know. Superman has glasses on. Nobody can tell it's Superman. They think it's Clark Kent. But takes them off, and all of a sudden, it's Superman. Well, Eddie Wilson was like that with a beard. Had the beard on, he was some other guy. Shaves the beard, and it's Eddie Wilson. But I love that movie, Eddie and the Cruisers, the original. I like the second one too, but it wasn't as good. And of course, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I've seen them so many times, close up too. I had good seats. We had good seats. Went, you know, with others and a friend of mine, and we had really good seats. It was, you know, regular. It wasn't like a stadium or something. It was a little like, you know, clubhouse or something. You know, they had finger food and round tables, and our table was always like right next to the stage. So I seen him a bunch of times. It was a good concert. I enjoyed, you know, that's why we would go and see him, because it was enjoyable. But yeah, I miss seeing Eddie and the Cruisers, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Kind of like Springsteen style, only that John Cafferty sings better. Springsteen's okay too, you know. I'm a fan of Springsteen. I like a lot of his music. Racing in the Streets, love that song, Racing in the Streets. Delicious tea. Too much light pollution in the city. You can't see the stars. You can see planets, but stars, I mean, they have to be very bright, but you won't see the way you see them in the desert. If you go to the desert, it's like 30,000 stars. and I'm fascinated with the universe. Fascinated. I was reading that a couple of years ago, the light of a star that is 13.8 billion miles from here. I mean light years, sorry. 13.8 billion light years.
That's a lot.
Finally reached us, and I was thinking how crazy that is, that light traveling at 186,000 miles per second takes 13.8 billion years to reach us from that star. It's like mind-boggling, or at least it boggles the mind, you know. I was reading about Voyager that was launched in 1997. Voyager 1, Voyager 2. So Voyager 2 has been traveling at a speed of 38,000 miles per hour, 24/7, since 1977. 38,000 miles per hour. That's crazy fast. Now, when you think of that, you go, wow, that's far. But then when they tell you that it's about 21 light hours away from us, that's nothing. 21 light hours. And to put that into context, the closest star, Alpha Centauri, is 4.2 light years. And you know, this thing's been going, this Voyager has been traveling through space for like 45 years. And it's not even one light day away. Not one light day away. I mean, you know, if you put it into car standards, imagine traveling at 100 miles per hour. You wouldn't even be close to that point, but it would seem far. I mean, traveling at 100 miles an hour in a car for 45 years non-stop, that's far. But this thing's been going for 38,000 miles per hour since 1977, and it's like 21 light hours away. That's it. That's it. And to get to, it's not going in the right direction, so it's not going to pass by Alpha Centauri. But if it were, it would take 70, 80,000 years to get there. That's how far these things are apart from each other. Yeah, I love learning about the universe, the new discoveries, and especially now with the Webb telescope up there. It's going to be fascinating, fascinating. It should be functioning right now. I mean, they should be out there, you know, with the monitors looking around and trying to find some stuff, but haven't heard anything yet. Anyway, we're going to wrap up here, and that's it. Good night.
Okay, I like my doors like I like my